In this video, I'm going to talk about the 10 things that I stopped buying because I think that they are a complete waste of money, starting with number 1, wearables and health trackers. These little guys right here have basically taken over, and once you see them, you can't unsee them because they're a little bit bulkier than normal rings, and because I'm a wage slave at a restaurant, I get to see a lot of hands, and everybody is wearing these things, especially women. What I'll say about the Oura rings and Whoop bands is that they make you feel like you are self-improving and making a lot of progress when you're really not doing anything. You have to think, these nerds and engineers have spent literally thousands of hours curating the perfect packaging and design and app and user interface to make you feel like you're making progress in your life and health when you're not really, just so they keep you paying their subscription fee to keep using the wearables. And I felt for this for a while too. You can probably even see me wearing one of these in my older videos when I first got it. But the truth is that it didn't actually change any of the things that I was doing in my everyday life. It just gave me a bunch of data and stats that I didn't actually need. Like, your resting heart rate and all that random stuff it gives you doesn't actually matter or change behaviors. If you want to get fit, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And it's going to be the mundane, boring habits every single day, like eating the right food, sleeping, and exercising, progressively overloading, that's actually going to get you the results, not the ring and the little data. And another big point of why these are such a waste of money is in a year or two, the battery is either going to die, and even if it doesn't, in 4 years from now, the technology is going to be completely obsolete. Like, there's going to be the Aura Band 4 and the Whoop Band 6, and they're not going to keep updating the old software and giving service to it. So then at that point, what are you going to do? Like, spend another $300 to $400 on the newest piece of tech or wearables? And honestly, keeping it charged and managing it just really wasn't worth it for me. What minimalism is all about is reducing things in your life that don't really matter so you can focus on what actually matters, and the reduced complexity of my health has honestly just made life way better without the wearables. Now, the second thing that I stopped paying for was ChatGPT Premium. And I hate AI. I think AI makes us dumber, more lonely, less creative, and more autistic. I feel like we're entering a dystopian reality with AI. Like, if you guys haven't seen it already, go watch, I think it's Blade Runner 46, the one with Ryan Gosling, and it really feels like we're entering into that. I remember when I was in college, literally everyone would just use AI to complete all of their assignments. Like, there was zero learning that took place, and it's insane what people are using it for now. They're replacing therapists and literally pouring their heart out and talking to AI like it's their best friend. They even replace like God and Jesus with AI. Like, people are talking to chat more than they're praying. And the thing is, we don't know the long-term effects that AI is going to have on our mental health, especially kids. Like, it's one of those things like social media where it came out and everyone thought it was fine, but now we're realizing that there's so many studies out there telling everyone how depressed it's making them and the mental health effects. Same thing with vaping. Like, a couple years ago, everyone thought it was good and it was like a healthier version of cigarettes, and now we're figuring out there's all these weird chemicals that cause cancer. I think ChatGPT and AI, like us talking to it, is going to have the same effect, and no one is really talking or thinking about that. And it also kills your confidence. Like, I could go on ChatGPT and put in the title of this video and tell it to write me a script, and it would give me the most perfect 10 things that you should stop buying. And that is what everyone is doing. But the reason why you're watching this video is because people like watching people. I wrote this whole script by sitting in a room and writing on my whiteboard the 10 things that I actually personally stopped buying, and I am able to communicate that like a human to you, which ChatGPT cannot do. So I hate the dirty clankers at ChatGPT. I want to get it as far away as possible. Like, obviously there is some use cases if you're doing work, like it can definitely streamline things, but for creativity and friendship, I think that is horrible, and I refuse to pay for a premium chat subscription or give those clankers my money. The third thing that I stopped spending money on is takeout and fast food. And I know this is like the number one frugality tip in every single one of the videos, but the reason that I did it is actually probably different than everyone else. And first is the obvious, and that is that while fast food is getting more expensive, the quality is actually going down. If we look at an example like Chipotle, which is one of the healthier ones, you are paying more for bowls now, it seems, every single year, but you're getting less and less food. Like, I remember as a kid, I lived around the corner from a Chipotle, and I would like run there after soccer practice and get this massive bowl and burrito. And as I've gotten older, like the food has just gotten smaller and smaller. And if you look at the other side of that, where fast food is still cheap, like Taco Bell, you're basically poisoning yourself. Like that isn't even food. And that is actually the main reason I stopped eating out. Since then, I actually feel like 200 times better and smarter than I did before when I was eating all this junk food. This was probably one of the hardest things that I had to give up. And I'll still like go to Chipotle sometimes, but before I had these copes in my mind where, number one, if I was locked in my house all day, I was like, oh, I have to go out and go to a restaurant or go eat somewhere, where actually that's not what I was craving. I was just craving something fun to do, and going on a drive or to the park was just as fun as that. And so is cooking in itself. Like having the skill of taking these ingredients and being able to whip up like something super healthy and yummy is something that can never be replaced. But yeah, if you just stop eating all the overpriced garbage from fast food places and eat whole ingredients at home, you're going to be like 100 times happier and even smarter because your brain's actually going to be working. The third thing that I stopped paying for is overpriced car insurance. Car insurance is pretty devious because unlike most business models where the customer is rewarded for their loyalty, car insurance actually has the opposite, where if you stay with an insurance company, they're actually slowly going to hike up your rates and increase because they don't think that you're going to notice or go through the trouble of leaving after being with them for so many years. It's kind of like the frog in the boiling pot, where if you put the frog in the pot and slowly turn up the heat, it's just not going to notice or jump out, and then next thing you know, it's cooked. And you'll see a lot of crazy money stats, but I think this is probably the craziest that I've ever seen. That is that people who switch car insurance companies see a median savings of $660. So you can go and call like 10 different insurance companies and give them all your information and see what they'll give you. But what I did is use this free calculator here. You literally just ask a couple questions and then it'll show you the top car insurance. It only took me like 5 minutes and it literally saved me hundreds of dollars a year with a cheap policy. So if you guys haven't done this already, I highly recommend you do it. And make sure that you're car insurance shopping at least once per year. Now, the fifth thing that I stopped wasting money on is Prize Picks. And this is something that is pretty heavy on my heart because I just see so many young people falling into this, and it's really an epidemic that nobody's talking about. I remember the first time that I tried Prize Picks or any kind of sports gambling was about 2 years ago. It was the Super Bowl. I think it was the Eagles Super Bowl, if I remember correctly, and I didn't really care about the game, so I was on the couch with my uncle watching it, and I'm like, this is really boring. You want to place a bet on the game? And then he's like, yeah, why don't you just download Prize Picks? You'll get like $50 free and you can place some bets. So I'm like, all right, fine. And I didn't really think about it for the next year after that until the next season rolled around. And then I started placing bets again. I was actually doing it for a video idea. I was wondering if using the free picks that it gives you, I could outsmart them and actually come ahead if I had some discipline. But that quickly broke down. I got ahead a little bit and then I placed a bet and then I just lost it all. And I hated that feeling and I deleted it and haven't touched it since. But it is an epidemic. Like, there's a study that shows 75% of college students have gambled in the last year. And I would see this all the time. Like, even the best finance and business students would be picking their Prize Picks during class. Like, even the hot white girls that went to my school, I would see on Prize Picks. It was insane how deep this goes. It literally hijacks our brains, and it does it in a couple different ways. One of them is because you pick overs and unders on players. Like, for example, if Justin Jefferson will get like over 100 yards, and it's usually pretty close to what he actually gets, and you need like 2 or 3 players. So a lot of the times you're almost there, and then you get this like, oh, I was so close last time, and then you place a bigger bet to try to earn it back. But it is just horrible, and I'm so glad that I have been able to like get away from that whole culture. The next thing that I'd stopped buying was new technology, but specifically iPhones. I remember when I was in high school and middle school, I thought having the newest iPhone would get me hosed. Like, I would see all the rich kids at my school with the newest phone and camera, and I thought that was the equivalent of having status and being cool right there. But as I got older, I actually realized that there is a direct correlation to how happy I am and how much screen time I have. I even went to the lengths of selling my new phone and then getting like a 10-year-old phone to decrease my screen time, which was a little bit extreme, but I am convinced that the Amish might be onto something. But it always would blow my mind when the newest iPhone would release, and I would see on the news the line of people waiting up to get the new phone. And I'm convinced that brand new phones are the biggest money wasters outside of maybe new cars. The truth is, if I was to be put in a room with like the iPhone 12, 13, 14, and 16, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference between them. They all look and act the exact same. Maybe one has like a 0.2% better screen, but you're not going to be able to tell. And having that nicer screen isn't going to make you any happier. There's always going to be a bigger screen, a better processor, better headphones, speakers, cars. But there is a big difference between needing and wanting something. And when you finally get the thing that you want, like the new phone, you'll quickly realize it doesn't even make you happy, and then you just move on to the next thing. Now, if your phone is broken beyond repair or the battery is so bad that you need to upgrade, I still wouldn't buy a new one because of two reasons. One is that there is a website called Back Market. I'm not sponsored by them. Obviously, I don't have a big enough channel to be sponsored, but I've used them for like 6 or 7 years, and I've always had the best things. It's like refurbished, but you get really good quality at a really good price, and it's trustworthy. And the second reason is that carriers literally give you a brand new phone when you switch to them, and they'll even pay off your old phone. So like every 3 or 4 years, my family will just switch from like Verizon to T-Mobile to Sprint or whatever. And a lot of times we will get a lower rate, just like the car insurance, but we'll also get a brand new phone too. So you can get a brand new phone for free pretty easily if you want it bad enough. The next thing that I stopped buying, and I really hope that you guys listen to this one, is premium groceries. I had a longer Chipotle streak than most of you guys have nofap streaks. And that's because I went to some of the grocery stores when I was younger, like Sprouts and Trader Joe's and even Publix, and I looked at the prices of the ingredients there, and I'm like, why would I ever spend the time and energy cooking this when I could just go get Chipotle or something else for even cheaper? Literally, the single biggest money-saving habit that I've adopted in 2026 is just shopping at Aldi. I can get New York strips and sirloins I can get New York strips and ribeyes for great quality for less than I would buy expiring sirloins at premium grocery stores. Like, the food quality is literally the exact same as other grocery stores, except it has a different label and packaging on it. And I also like Aldi because you just walk in and you're at the grocery store. If you go to somewhere like Costco or Walmart, they'll purposely put the groceries in the back of the store, so you have to walk through and see all the different other things that they have on display. I can go on a health rant. Some people say that like the meat's not high quality and you can't get healthy looking there, but let me just mog really quick. I've been on the cut. As you can see, I'm somewhat of a specimen, and my my entire diet is literally just Aldi's. And also that brings me to my next point, which is that the next thing that I stopped wasting money on is supplements. I've spent a good amount of years in the gym, and I see two supplement abusers. The first is someone just getting started and they want some motivation or to speed up the process. So they go into a store, and then these clerks or whatever you want to call them are trained to sell a bunch of supplements and convince the newbies that they need them to get swole. The other side of that is the people that have been lifting for years and years who have kind of maxed out their natural capabilities, and they're not seeing progress like they once were, even though they're putting the same or more time. So then they start trying all these weird, obscure supplements like turkesterone. And I've been there, like I'm not maxed out, but I think the supplement industry as a whole is a scam. Even a lot of multivitamins, if you're eating a healthy diet from Aldi's, then you're going to get all the nutrients that you need, and most of the time you won't need to take anything. Literally only two that are worth taking is number one, protein powder to meet your protein goals, and then number two, creatine. Those are the only two supplements that are valid. But I'm promising you guys that sleeping an extra hour is going to do way more than any testosterone booster or supplement is going to do for you. All right, now the last thing that I stopped wasting money on that I wanted to talk about today is clothes and shoes. Now, we all go through different fashion phases. I think if we look back, most of them are pretty regrettable, but I remember in high school, I was like super insecure. So I would try to buy things, like I mentioned, the phone, that would try to make me feel more confident. So I would buy things like the Jordan shoes from Nike and chains, like not like black rapper chains, but just like, I don't know, accessories. And I would go to H&M and try to buy different pants and shirts and jackets that I thought would make me look cool. But it wasn't until I adopted this more minimalistic mindset when I just started rocking with plain pants, plain sneakers, and then plain t-shirts. Literally my whole closet right now is just a bunch of plain t-shirts and sweatshirts, and that is the best decision I've ever made. Like, if you have a good physique, you're still going to look good, and all those pieces are timeless. Like, a plain well-fitted t-shirt is never going to go out of style. Plus, like I mentioned with minimalism, it takes away a lot of the stress of everyday life of deciding what you're going to wear to impress people that you don't even like, to where you can just mix and match anything in your closet. Also, a lot of the name brands are quite frankly just bad quality. The only two things that I really buy is I'll buy Built shirts. It's like a brand. I'm also not sponsored by them or anything, but they make good quality shirts. I'll wear them out and about. I'll even wear them to the gym. And then I know this sounds gay, but I also wear Lululemon. I basically get free Lululemon every quarter. Don't ask me how. But at first I was like, oh, this is kind of gay. Like this is like the white girl brand, but they actually do make really high quality stuff, and one of their shirts will last me way longer than all the other workout shirts that I buy. So I do think that investing in nicer clothes can be worth it. In fact, if you like this video, I made an entire video on things that you should upgrade after you have money, which is basically opposite to this one. And I think that is a different perspective that you guys will really enjoy watching.